Welcome to Source Material, a podcast where we tell each other funny and or formative stories from our lives and then make it into an RPG and play the story out together. Sort of a combination of long-form improv, collaborative storytelling, and maybe a touch of group therapy. Today we have our first guest who will be the one telling his story.
My name is Mitch. What should I say? Very excited to be here.
My name is Nathan. Also, the hosts are Nathan.
My name is Emma.
Hi, I'm Matthew. I'm so excited.
And so right now we're just talking with Mitch and deciding which of the stories that he's brought we're going to be exploring today.
So hi, Mitch.
Hi, Mitch.
Hi, Emma. Hi, Nathan. Hi, Matt.
We already heard the water park story. What other stories were you thinking about?
So I realized I had another flavor of getting lost story. But again, I mean, I'll be able to flesh it out more, but it was on a road trip with my grandmother, my cousin, and then my grandma's partner, Mr. Bill Church. And,
wow, I love Bill Church already.
Yeah, for real. I don't know why, but my grandma's boyfriend is always just a great person.
Yeah, dibs on role-playing as that character.
Hold on. I don't even know what story he's telling yet.
It was also the way you said Mr. Bill Church with a little giggle, like a little spry, like Willy Wonka.
I laugh more and more the more I remember this character. He was a scary old man in my life, but now thinking back on it, I'm like, oh, Bill Church was funny, dude.
I'm invested.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, it was the four of us driving from the East Coast across to I think we ended up in Utah, and we ended up seeing a bunch of in the last one we were in Jurassic Park. I was a big dinosaur kid, so we were going to see dinosaur sites, I think, in Utah, and we stopped at this it was a family reunion for the side of the family that my mom's cousin was the most closely related person to me, besides my grandma and my cousin. So it was a side of the family that was our family, but we didn't really know them. And this guy had a big ranch thing in Colorado. I remember it was my birthday, and I was bored, and everyone else didn't want to do stuff that I wanted to do. So I think I just walked without a trail, just into the Colorado wilderness. I just was oh, I'll just walk in a straight line, and then when I'm done, I'll turn around and I'll walk in a straight line back.
How old were you also at this point? Because I know the last one was 6. How old is this one?
6. This one is 9. I think I was 9 or 10. I was going into 4th grade. I think I was somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I think I remember it was going into 4th grade though. I actually succeeded in my plan. I will say I walked just a long ways, I think for hours. Maybe it wasn't hours, but it was long enough that it felt like a really long time. And then I said, well, that was enough. And I turned around and walked back. And without too much difficulty, I did make it back. And everyone was running around, driving the golf carts up and down the roads and shit for me.
What? I know you're not done, but I need to hear your understanding of how the adults reacted to you being gone.
Yeah, their position was, hey, you can't walk off alone and not tell anyone. And I think my position was I clearly can, because I just did and I got back. It was fine.
This adds so much necessary context to you as a person, having walked across the country with you 1.5 times, and just note, as my friend from college, who one time we were at the beach and Mitch just walked away, and then I was like, oh, okay, me too. Oh my goodness.
Well, I did a good beach walk.
Did you get scolded?
I think I was at least mediumly scolded. They were definitely not happy with me.
How does Mr. Bill Church fit into the whole equation?
Mr. Bill Church, oh god, he was just around and just sort of cross. But I remember him throughout the whole rest of the trip. I would do weird stuff like play my Game Boy like in between like on the floor of the driver's seat of the van near like the gas pedals. One time he
What?
opened up the door and I scared the shit out of him. And he just was like, "Oh, these goddamn kids." And he went kicking around and stomping away. And this was back, I guess I had a little bit of a potty mouth. So they were penalizing me with every swear I had to pay
Amazing.
quarters or something. And so I was like, Bill Church better be giving me a nickel or whatever.
What was his relationship like with your grandma? Like, what is she like as a character?
God, oh, so she is like what? She liked to travel. She wasn't a super warm lady. She wasn't mean, but I realized, I guess, like she like I don't know, left my grandpa with my mom and her two sisters, I guess. Like when I don't know, my mom was like 14 or something. So I guess like there was always like this little bit of a weird tension between my mom and her mom, and I'm like figuring that out now. It's like probably some of it. Yeah, she was she was like motivated to get me like to see the country, which was nice.
She was also wandering off.
She also liked to wander off, yes. And we were
Wow.
not like closely supervised often, me and my cousin. And my cousin was, oh god, so I was like 9 and she was like 13, maybe 14. And she just like absolutely hated the fact that she was like carted off with her like younger cousin and her grandma to, like spend weeks like alone in the van, like
Oh my god, for a 13-year-old girl, that's the worst
Yeah.
experience.
I think that's the story because we got the
Yes.
four characters
Yeah, I'll
in the
take it-
van
I
together.
take it back. I'd also be happy with the 13-year-old. I'd be happy with any of these characters.
I almost want Mitch to play Mr. Bill Church just because I think you have a unique perspective.
Yes.
I do think something we got right in our last recording session was that I played Little Nathan and Nathan played his dad, which was I think it was a hit.
That's the practice one that's never going to come to light.
Yeah.
So our cast of characters is 9-year-old Mitch, 13-year-old. What's your cousin's name? We don't have to use her name. Never mind.
Well,
Make up a name that is vaguely
Yeah.
like that name.
girl, the person who plays them can make up a name.
yeah. It's
Also, I'm sorry, Mr. Bill Church, if you're still around, but we sure first and last dropped that name, huh?
yeah, he is no longer with us. We are in the clear, I reckon.
All right.
That's
Well,
fine.
there
You can
go.
talk however you
Actually,
want
I don't
about
know if
dead
that makes
people.
it better or worse that he is Bill Church is in the public domain.
Okay, so there's Mitch, there's Mitch's cousin, there's Mr. Bill Church, and there's your grandma. Were either of your parents along, Mitch?
No.
What a trip. What a
Okay.
crew.
Amazing.
Wow.
To me, this almost has
kidding.
to be like a fantasy adventuring trip or something. I don't know. Especially with like the motley
Yeah.
crew of mixed personalities that are like, why are these people all together?
It almost reminds me of Dan Harmon animated popular show.
Oh, Rick and Morty?
Yes.
Oh.
Very easily.
You want to do Rick and Morty, Emma?
Well, no, that's like what it feels like. I don't.
It's like grandparent and young people, you mean?
It could very easily be Rick and Morty-esque.
Or it could be, yeah, like a space adventure travel or something.
Ooh, and especially if this is like Utah, Colorado. I feel like Space Wild West is fun.
Yeah, space western, even or a regular western or regular space. All fun.
Yeah. Well,
Except for regular space. Regular space, at least for now, is no fun travel happens in regular space.
We also just did a Western. I mean, Nathan and I love Firefly because we did a Western, and a space Western seems like the next logical step.
yeah, Firefly vibes.
Did you watch Firefly, Mitch?
Not really. Know a lot about the Expanse.
Is it similar, Maddie?
No, not a little. They're both in space.
Those are both in space.
Firefly is more whimsical. The Expanse is like if World War II were in space. You know, it's like a space western, but it's World War II. Which is probably false, probably an inaccurate description. But I do like the idea of bringing a gritty realism, like like in The Expanse to this childhood story of Mitch is.
No, we don't have to do that. But I much prefer whimsy and grit.
If you're sure. Okay, whimsy it is. Okay, space western. I mean, I'm happy with space western. Or I mean, like classic, like like the beginners module to every single D&D adventure where they're in the cart, like, and you're going with your friend Gundren Rockseeker to the whatchamacallit, to the caves or whatever, like. A cart trip down a fantasy highway could also be a fun simplistic playground. I'm not married to anything yet.
Fantasy Oregon Trail
Could be fun.
Alternately, Space Oregon Trail, if we're sticking with the Space Western.
Space Oregon Trail is very good.
Yeah, Space Oregon Trail is very. What is a Space Oregon Trail look like? Like, are we in a spaceship, or do spaceships exist and we're not on one? We're just on a shitty planet somewhere.
I think it would be like you're on a. It wouldn't have to be full Oregon Trail, but it could be like you guys are on like some shuttle or something else like that has to get out to collect something or whatever else, and someone does a spacewalk and gets themselves lost or something along those lines.
Do the familial relationships stay the same? Like, are these four characters related? Is it grandma's boyfriend, two cousins?
For this one, I kind of like it. Grandma and grandma's boyfriend is a fun.
Yeah, you could just do space version.
We should brainstorm. Like, what else could it be?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be space.
Or not even like I like the space, but I mean, like, we could brainstorm relationship too.
I'm leaning towards Emma's point, which is grandma's boyfriend, cousin that doesn't want to be there is just an incredible dynamic and really kind of the heart of the story. If we're on a spaceship, are we the only ones on the spaceship?
It could be like a big bus type thing that's like taking us to the frontier of a planet, caravan style. You were going for a family reunion is why you were driving?
That was like an added benefit. It was like to see the West really, and I guess it did correspond with this. It wasn't a priority for me. For me, it was a trip to see dinosaur bones.
Love.
I don't know if it was a trip for my grandma to go to a family reunion.
We should have some fantasy creature bones also, I feel like, involved in.
Oh, yeah, we're doing fantasy or something.
Space, whatever. Like alien bones, you know what I mean?
Yeah, what is the space equivalent of a dinosaur kid?
Oh, okay. Wait. Maybe like humans took over this planet, but like there were creatures before we were like, we're living here, and you're like really interested in their bones or something.
Like a past civilization?
Yes.
Maybe a civilization more than bones.
What is creatures called? Don't think, just answer. 3, 2, 1, go.
Bone monkeys.
Mine was blue blorps, which I felt too embarrassed about to say.
No, you should have said blue blorps.
I said bone monkeys.
Bone monkeys.
But that's why you need me to think before I answer.
I think some of them are blue blorps and some of them are bone monkeys.
Maybe like Sorny Doors or some like play on dinosaurs.
Sorny Doors is really cute in my eye. Okay, so Sorny Doors, Bloop Bloops, Bone Monkeys, all solid options.
That's fun. I do like that.
Yeah, Sorny Doors is good. It rolls off the tongue.
It's just like an almost dinosaur name, but like made by someone who's having a good time.
Yeah. The interesting debate is whether Sorny Doors really existed or if their bones were put there by God to test us. That's a really interesting, rich topic.
They really get into that. Were there ever really a civilization before us? Or
I'm sure Bill Church has an opinion.
What? So we have like the relationships between the four people. I mean, unless somebody wants to pitch an alternative. But then what are our like crew responsibilities? I mean, the children are probably just children. What is Mr. Bilch and what is Grandma? Do we have a name for Grandma? Should we have a name for Grandma?
I always called her Mo.
Mo. See, that translates great.
Mo and Bill are perfect.
I think they both drove, but probably Bill Church drove more. Yeah, Bill Church. Now thinking back, I think Bill Church was our driver. The hard part was I did a lot of the time have to sit in like a rear-facing seat at the very back of the van.
I think being on a spaceship with an eventual destination, but really like the point of the trip is to stop at different Sornidor
Like
locations.
planet and outposts that like show their old civilization.
Yeah, like the same sort of dynamic of it's like old van sort of thing, but equivalent as a spaceship. And we're
Yeah.
going to different sites because we did also like we went to different national parks and stuff and stopped different places along the way. So something like a tour of the solar system, or
I love the visual of like a camper van as a spaceship also.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, just a big like hunk of rectangular metal.
There's some fins in a rocket just on our like.
All right, so who is feeling what for the four characters? Anybody want to stake claims?
I don't know. I guess it would be appropriate. Like last time I played Little Nathan, but I guess it would be appropriate for me to play Little Mitchell.
And then are we saying that Mitch is Bill Church?
Okay, excellent. Yeah, I would be honored to be Bill Church.
All right, Emma, do you want to be Grandma Mo or unnamed cousin?
I could absolutely go in either direction. Which would you prefer?
I think I'm gonna go with Grandma Mo. I think you would get the annoyed teenage girl.
Be an annoyed teenage girl? I don't know what you're talking about, Nathan. Eh?
Nice. Ooh, wow. Yeah, great start.
I'm ready.
All right, I'm gonna be sending the character creation stuff is extremely simple, so that it takes just a couple of minutes.
Okay.
We have our characters. We have our setting. The big story is Lil Mitch walking away, which I can't just go by Lil Mitch again, like we did with Lil Nathan. I think I need a new name.
I don't know, like that's not a bad like gimmick. Like whoever tells the story like just becomes little
That's
them,
true.
and
That's true.
And then we change the names of real people depending on how bad we feel telling the story with their name in it.
yeah, how alive or dead they might be.
Will I get sued if I just name my character Summer?
Yeah.
Oh, from Rick and Morty?
Yeah,
No, I don't think you'll get sued.
so perfect.
If you do get sued, too bad.
I'd be honored.
So yeah, the attributes: brawn, charm, deafness, brains, and grit. This is based. I don't know if you've heard of it or not, but it's called Kids on Bikes. It's like a Stranger Things ET-esque kind of game.
Brawn, charm, deft, brains, and grit.
Nathan, can you write mine down because I'm bad?
Yes, I can do Little Mitch and Grandma Mo.
Thanks, Nathan. I'm Little Mitch. Little Mitchell. And I think I can walk as far as I want.
So to me, it sounds like Little Mitchell had some grit. You know what I mean? Like he could walk for an hour or so by himself. Hard to break this character emotionally and physically.
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly.
So I'm going to make the grit that D12.
How would you say Little Mitch was on charm, Mitch? Big Mitch.
Yeah, judge yourself from 15 years ago.
Yeah. How socially adept were you as a child, as a 9-year-old?
Oh God, I
Are you smart?
not very.
I would guess high in deftness.
That's true. Balance on trees and rocks, it says.
No.
Mm-hmm.
I would be decently deft.
I'll make that the D10 for now then.
Thought I was much more charming and charismatic than I actually was. I was always, I think, trying too hard.
You should probably have a -1 in charming or something.
So we got brains, charm, and brawn left. What do you think you were most to least for that?
Brains, charm, brawn.
You gotta have brains to research those Sornidors.
Yes. Yep.
Brains D8. And then were you stronger or more charming?
Oh, I wasn't much of either, but we'll put charm over brawn.
And then if you look at the attributes, the adjective trait attributes there's going to be 3 that we pick from. And then, you can do 2 mixed and 1 positive, or 2 positive and 1 mixed. Are there any there that sort of stand out to you?
For Little Mitch?
Yeah.
Okay.
If Mitch gets to make Little Mitch, I feel like I should get to make Bill Church.
That's true. I guess I was asking him because he is him, so it feels weird to be like, let's say what you were when you were this age.
Yes, that is completely reasonable. But I just think for fairness, then I should get to make Bill Church.
That's true. You don't have to be the most accurate, Just based on that story, we can just go with it.
Mhm.
That's true. I mean, we could do the same thing with you guys. Nathan could make Emma's 13-year-old, and Emma could make Captain Mo.
That would be fun.
I think I've already decided to refer to her as Captain Mo, your grandma.
Captain
I
Mo.
think that makes sense.
Captain Mo,
And Mr. Bill Church, Dr. Bill Church, Mr. Bill Church, weapons expert, Dr. Bill Church, mechanic at large, Dr. Bill Church, the Norsador charlatan. I'm just spitballing here. Nobody. Come on.
Were you asking for
thinking
feedback?
Up a superlative for Bill Church.
I thought you were just sort of like
yeah,
just going with it, and I was like, hey, I'll let him do it.
I was going for it, but I kind of expected people to have feedback, I guess, instead of just me speaking it into the void.
It was only because I was trying to pick adjective traits for myself.
I was also, doing Summer and her stats.
That's reasonable.
And I'm thinking about Captain Mo.
Yeah.
Okay, so are we going to say these out loud? Like, are you going to say Summers out loud?
Yeah, so right now, I don't know. Again, I'm basing this just on basically nothing. I'm having, for Summer, Charm at 12, Brains at 10, Deafness at D8, and then I'm going to say Brawn next, and then Grit as the lowest. Maybe that's Teen Girlist.
I think somebody who doesn't want to be on the trip at all is not going to be much for Grit.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Is she's, not much of a threshold there, was my guess.
Emma, are you excited to play an angry 13-year-old girl?
Oh, yeah, I'm very
All right,
excited.
tell me what Captain Mo's stats are,
Okay.
Emma.
Captain Mo. I feel like she's a brawny lady. Would that be top of it? Yeah, I'm gonna say that she is a brawny lady. Maybe Brains next, and then Grit, Deft, and then Charm.
Grit, Deft, Charm. Okay. All right, and then let me know what positive and mixed traits you guys want me to throw on here for Maddie and Emma, since I'm recording your guys'. Oh, also, Mitch, just so you know, one of the main aspects of this game is if you fail a roll, you get what's called an adversity token. You'll have to kind of keep track of those. And then later on, you can add an adversity token to your roll to get a +1 or +2 or however many you spend.
Okay, so failing gets you a bonus in the future.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the rules are you can help a friend, but only if it's like a prepared action. Like if they have to like dodge something, then you can't give them any adversity tokens because you don't have any chance to help them. But if it's like something where you're working together, you can give someone adversity tokens if they fail as well.
We pick one from each, is that correct? Of the
No, so you 3 total, so you can pick 2 mixed or 2 positive, whichever you'd rather, and then 1 is the other one.
Okay.
Do you guys have what you want it to be for Little Mitch and or Bill Church, Mr. Bill Church?
Okay, for Mr. Bill Church, for my attributes, I think we're putting Charm first. I think we're going to put Grit second, and then Deft third, Brains, and then Brawn.
All right, and this is for Mitch's character. Oh, and then do you know what you want the attributes for Mr. Bill Church to be?
Let's see. I think Cool Under Pressure is pretty reasonable.
I don't know. It sounds like he got scared by a kid and started swearing a bunch.
He did. I spooked him when I was playing my Game Boy.
Okay, that's a good point. That's a very good point. What about unassuming, Mitchell? Do you think that applies to Mr. Bill Church?
He was a very bland vanilla man. That is true.
Bland vanilla man?
Yeah, I had pulled unassuming as a potential one for young Mitch as well. But
that can be the case. There's probably going to be overlap. We don't have that many of these attribute things.
Okay, yeah.
I think Bill Church is Mr. Bill Church is a rule follower.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I see that. I
think Mr. Bill Church is
ancient or bookish.
Yeah, ancient or bookish for sure.
So it's -1 to Brawn and Deft, and then +2 to either Charm, Grit, or Brains. You get to choose 2 of those.
I would take Charm and Grit then, I think.
Charm and Grit. Cool. And then what's the last one you want to do for him?
Well, we have unassuming, rule follower, and ancient/bookish.
Oh,
I
you already
think.
have all three. Never mind. Perfect. All right, little Mitch, you want to stick with unassuming as one of them?
Yeah, I had pulled out unassuming. I think that's a good one. I had unassuming, skeptical rookie.
Nice. That's beautiful. All right, Emma, what do you think Captain Mo's like?
Captain Mo. I feel like Captain Mo is pretty easygoing, you know? And maybe a bit of a gambler.
Ooh.
And
Oh, I like this character I'm playing.
my own grandma was a gambler, and it's just, the spirit reminds me similarly.
My own grandma was a gambler.
Yeah, she had a
Right.
camper van. She'd take us places in and everything. Okay.
That's sick.
And maybe she's rebellious.
All right.
Ooh.
Yep.
How true do you think this has been to the real Mo?
I could see rebellious. She definitely was not a gambler. She was the absolute opposite of a gambler. She would always get the least expensive thing, and yeah, it was very, very frugal. That was another thing about her.
Oh,
Be frugal and still have a gambling addiction.
that's true.
Yeah, she's frugal because of all of the gambling she does.
Yeah, she's really got to be frugal.
I buy this can of soup for 14 cents. I got this much more for gambling.
I'm gonna go specifically, especially because of this road trip thing with Summer. I'm gonna go prepared. Again, I'm just making assumptions here, but I'm, imagining like maybe that she's bringing more things than maybe the average person is. So we're gonna go prepared, and then I'm going to say that she is a quick thinker. Does any of those stick out to you for your cousin? Sorry to.
Rebellious teenager
Oh
is
yeah,
a classic.
definitely quick thinker. I could see prepared as well.
All right. Do you like rebellious as for her? Does that fit?
Ooh, yes, rebellious fits.
All right, perfect. So we got our characters now.
Oh, fun. Ooh, I like this character creation system. It's really fun. I like choosing the traits because like you just get 3 and they say what they do. I don't know. They fit
It's
really
a good
well.
little one. It's nice and quick too.
Yeah. Imagine making a new actual like D&D character each time we did this. There's a little bird outside that just kind of skipped along the water. Like it like came up out of the water and went fluff 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 fluff, fluff and then landed again in the water. Anyway,
Sounds very pretty.
Emma, what was the dinosaur thing? What was the name for the dinosaurs again?
Sornidors.
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 What is the name of the planet on which we're finding Sornidors?
Terrasorna.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, hell yes. Okay. That's one. I feel like that should be the main planet. That's like Sornidor Mecca.
They're like dinosaurs but bigger. I've heard about them my whole life. We have to go see them.
Yeah.
And I feel like they were definitely like sentient dinosaurs. Like they had a civilization. They've got like outposts in space.
That does add another interesting dimension.
Potential dangers of like these woods that this child is wandering
Ooh.
off into. Like what wildlife or people are in this area.
Oh, space pirates for sure. Well, when little Mitch wanders off, I feel like I had imagined it happening in an escape pod. I had been imagining little Mitch stealing an escape pod and going to find a small, lesser-known Sornidor planet himself. Maybe I'm deciding too
Ooh.
much.
I think we can maybe see what this comes from, but I like that as an idea for when it starts kicking off. Or like it's one like you want to stop and see it, but we're in a rush, so nobody else wants to.
I was thinking a really good idea for character creation that's real quick and easy, and what I would do to make NPCs is choose something your character wants, like the thing your character wants, and then something your character fears. And that is good for fleshing people out really quickly, I think.
All right.
Mr. Bill Church, in my head, just wants a nice cup of coffee. I think that's all he wants.
I was about to say, yeah, because in real life, Bill Church just wants to get back and sit down and drink a scotch.
Okay, that makes sense. That's nice.
Yeah.
He wants to get back home and sit and drink his scotch. And then what does he fear, Mitch?
Oh. Mo.
Nathan, please write that down for me.
Wants a cup of coffee, fears Mo.
Yeah.
Yeah. A nice cup of coffee. It's got to be nice.
Really, any drink alone in silence is, I think, is the main goal.
I want to say that Mo wants an adventure, you know? You don't become the captain of this ship without a desire for an adventure. And fear getting tied down. She's a lover of the open road, you know? Is this Bill Church guy gonna cramp her style? We don't know.
Fears like settling in complacency.
Yeah.
What does little Mitch want besides, or maybe it is just to see the Cyanidors,
I think
Sornidors, sorry.
Mitch, you can correct me or not, but obviously seeing some Sornidor remains is a big appeal for little Mitch. But I think a secret motivation that he hasn't told his family about is that maybe he wants to take some form of a Sornidor home with him.
Ooh.
I don't know, some like extra higher stakes.
He wants to go to the Sornidor planet and not return.
He wants to stay with the
live amongst the Sornidor past empire.
That's pretty good. I like that. What does little Mitch fear? Mitch? This is a loaded question.
Regular Mitch fear.
What does big Mitch fear?
Oh God. What would be a good fear for little Mitch?
He's scared of having to put his quarters in the jar when he swears. I don't know. That's too simple.
He's scared of them finding out how much he's secretly swearing.
That's fun.
Okay, so what was I doing on this trip? I would buy knickknacks and dinosaur figurines in gift shops.
Mm-hmm.
I would play my Game Boy. I think we had a SpongeBob video game. I listened to Harry Potter on audiobook.
Maybe like being bored.
Yes, that's probably it. I did.
That's
yep.
pretty good.
That's very good and fits.
That's a lot to play with too. Wow, Nathan, very insightful.
What can I say?
I also you can see the familial connection between Captain Mo and Lil Mitch here.
True.
100%. It sounds like the 13-year-old girl and Mr. Bill Church have similar wants.
Yeah, I was going to say, for once, I have Summer as wants the trip to be over. I assume that's like her main thing that she wants. Her fear, what would her fear be? People seeing her in this situation? I don't know. Was she like that where it's like,
Oh,
you don't want your friends to know that you're in this weird road trip with your cousin and grandparents?
I'm sure she would likely be mortified. Yeah, if the school knew the particulars of her road trip,
All right, so I'm going to say, yeah, she's afraid of anybody knowing.
well, by that logic, somebody that she knows from outside of school, she has to run into.
Yeah, no, don't worry.
On this trip in our version.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right, now I got to remember who I'm playing. I'm playing Captain Mo, not Summer. Right?
Yeah, we were just
Captain
building
Mo.
each other's
What does
characters.
Captain Mo want? Oh,
Who wants adventure?
Yeah, we already
I
did
think
that
that's
one.
what Emma made that one.
I think building each other's characters is very fun too.
Yeah.
That is fun.
The nature of the ship that we're traveling in, I think the big hunk of rectangular metal is good. Take it one step further, make it a 70s hunk of rectangular metal. Real 1970s spaceship that is a VW. It could be Volkswagen. I don't know. That could be a fun that's very Joss Whedon of us.
The Volkswagen 7000.
Yeah. I feel like there's got to be what's the equivalent of a gas station in this? I think a little transit hub for spaceships is always a very fun place to go.
Ooh, like a fueling station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Space gas station.
Yeah, space gas station.
Gotta get those crystals recharged.
Right.
Space gas runs out.
Space gas runs out all the time in the Expanse.
Oh boy, it's really brutal when we're just gonna add space. I mean, it's one of my favorite tropes to just be like, oh, the space gas. Guys, the space radiator. It's heated up.
It's all gunked up with space juice.
Are Sornidors extinct now?
My thought is that they're like a precursor society.
Okay, maybe they're still around, maybe they're not. Or
Well, they're assumed to be
They're
gone,
thought
but
to be
maybe they're
extinct.
not,
Okay.
There's a little bit of mystery to the Sornidors. That's
I don't
part
know,
of the
Emma, are
appeal.
dinosaurs extinct?
Based on the Yukonist, I also want there to just be like cultists around, you know? This is a bit of a
Oh,
Sornidor worshippers, something?
I don't know.
I'll throw it in as a possibility. I got a list of the different things.
here is Emma again slipping some version of Mormonism into a role-playing game that I'm playing with her. You do this a lot.
Oh, she does it a lot in the other games too.
I've watched a lot of Mormon cult documentaries, so gotta use what you got, you know?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Improv what you know, I think is the thing that you know.
I thought it's. I know, right? What you know.
No, that was.
But
I know. I was just
I
joking.
guess.
I was making that one up. It's not a real
Oh,
one.
okay. Nice. Oh, I was going to explore the how valid "be proud of what you know" is. I mean, it's not terrible.
Oh no, I said improv what you know was my joke instead of write what you know.
Oh,
I like be proud of what
Okay.
you know too, though.
Should I not be proud of my extensive knowledge of
Oh, whoa.
oh yeah. Could we? What are some Sornidor facts to throw out? Like what how many legs did Sornidors have?
Mitch?
I think it's more fun if you, Maddie, as little Mitch, just like spouts them insanely, like the way that a kid does. Like, sans
That's true.
context.
Some of them like
It's-
may not be true.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe like tar pits. Like, you know how there's like dinosaur bone tar pits? Maybe something along those lines. Like, but what's a space
yeah.
equivalent of a tar pit? I don't know.
I think it's a space pit.
I was thinking of a black hole, but that feels much more intense, I guess, than just a tar pit.
Sornidors are preserved in black holes.
All right, should we jump into it?
I can't play too long this one. We're gonna get dinner with the landlord sometime after, like in like an hour
Dinner with the
plus.
landlord?
Like, yeah, well, because she's gonna help us find our next housing, maybe hopefully a little bit, and she's only in town sometimes, and she offered to get dinner, and so we kind of want to be her friend, and she seems very nice also.
A little bit of bootlicking for the landlord. No, I'm kidding,
You
sir.
know,
There's a lot of anti-landlord sentiment these days.
All right. Other things that we have to, then I guess we should maybe do this a bit longer, then that'll work. We can cut all this middle stuff eventually. But one other thing that we forgot to do is what core elements of the story have to remain. We talked, it's like, road
Ooh,
trippy, that sort of a thing. But like him getting lost is important, of course. Or not lost, but I guess that's the argument is, did he get lost? He says no.
I think the little rebellious moment for little Mitch is like the moment of the story.
Gotta
like
wander off,
when
yeah.
the 9-year-old decides to go off on his own, for sure.
What do you think the start point of the story should be? I can write that down too. Should it just be like, halfway through the trip, bam, in media res kind of a deal?
I think so. Was there anything interesting to the start of the trip, Mitch?
I mean, there was just like other like stops and play. I mean, it wasn't as exciting because driving through Ohio and Pennsylvania were not as exciting. But yeah, like we went to like the Zane Grey Museum.
Who is that?
Yeah, who is
Like
that?
I think he was a Western writer from Ohio. It's like yeah, it was just
You're
not
like,
for
where
me.
are the Sornidors?
Yeah, but then like I was really waiting for the Sornidors. But then I think I bought like a comically large chain that had a turquoise arrowhead on it.
Amazing.
Oh, that's so good.
I got one of those in Ohio and I wore it for a long time.
I think in the interest of telling a good story, we definitely pick up after the Zane Grey Museum and the space equivalent of Pennsylvania and Ohio.
For sure.
But definitely little Mitch has acquired some stupid fucking piece of space paraphernalia.
I have ridiculous space memorabilia from the like all the like boring tourist attractions that Mo and Bill Church wanted to go
It's
to.
okay. We'll come back to Space Pennsylvania in another episode because I also love Quaker history. So,
Yeah. Emma's just all about that like fringe Christian group.
Yes, I mean I was raised in space Pennsylvania. Maybe we need to flesh out. I mean, I know Emma can pick up with angry 13-year-old girl who doesn't want to be here and run with it, but like maybe we should at least give her a name, right?
Well, it's summer.
It's Summer, yeah, I think Emma's going with Summer as the name.
Oh, it's Summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how did she get on this trip? Like, how did Summer
true.
end up being the only one to go on this trip?
Oh, that's a good question.
Is she an only child?
No, she
Interesting.
has a sister that's 2 or 3 years older than her, and then a brother who's another 2 or 3 years older. Yeah, I think Rebecca might be 3 years older, and then Zach might be 2 years older than Rebecca.
But at 13, you're less independent. Maybe the parents just kind of wanted to ship off like their youngest child to have some freedom.
Yeah, that might be it. And her other siblings might have been like going to college or something. But I guess I don't know why she was decided that she needed to go on this trip as well.
I think we can even make it, even if this wasn't what it was, like Emma's thing, plus maybe like a little bit, since she has the rebellious trait, maybe like a bit of a punishment. Like you got yourself in trouble.
Oh,
I like
Guess
that.
what? Now you're on a road trip with your grandma and your little cousin.
And your shitty
that's perfect. Yeah,
your shitty older brothers and your parents are going to some version of like an amusement park.
Yes, they're going on a cruise.
You have to go on a road trip.
Yeah, you gotta take Captain Mo's Volkswagen 7000.
Also, maybe Mo wants a bit of like a built-in babysitter for when she wants to leave the 9-year-old for a little bit or something.
Yes. Yes, that wow, that so much is actually becoming clear about my trip that I didn't realize.
You're like, wait a minute, was this not 4 people who all wanted to see dinosaurs? You're like, yeah, I guess there's a family reunion at the end or whatever.
Yeah, there was a family reunion of people that I didn't know, so it wasn't important to me.
And I love too that you said like it was your birthday. I think that's important. We can't forget that.
That's true.
And you're like, hey, let's do this. And everyone's like, no. And you're like, well, then I'm going to do it. Happy birthday to me.
That's true. When we reach Little Mitch's birthday, that's got to be a big part of what he does. What he does.
I like the escape route thing, and it's like you wanted to do that for your birthday, but no, we got to go because we're going to be late otherwise. And so you're just like, well, guess who is doing this for their birthday? Me.
Or there are space pirates like somewhere nearby, so they have we can't go to that planet because there are space pirates. Little Mitch, like, well, that was the Sony Doors place of origin for over 200 million years. There's a specific winged variant of Stornidor.
Maddie, remember, you have to stay friends with Mitch. You can't have that be his voice.
A true Stornidor aficionado would not be dissuaded by the presence of pirates.
Oh my god, maybe you should be Little Mitch. That moment was better than anything else he would be able to do as Little Mitch.
Amazing.
Oh my god. A true Stornidor aficionado. We're getting there.
You know, it would kind of be fun to like get redemption and of like, you know,
yeah,
like for my younger self. That is kind of fun.
When I told Mitch about the premise of the podcast, his first question was like, can I go back and fix something I've done wrong? Like, yeah, sure. Okay, I think a good place to start is, past Space Ohio, 2, maybe 3 days before Little Mitch's birthday. So we have like 1 day, 2 day, 3rd day is Mitch's birthday. What happens? Okay. But genuinely, Little Mitch, if you want to, if Big Mitch, if you want to be Little Mitch and fix what happened, I'll gladly play Mr. Bill Church.
Oh, that does sound kind of fun. I didn't realize how much I wanted to do it until I said that Stornidor aficionado line. I was like, oh, that is going to be a fun character.
Yeah. And 100%. Also, just the sheer amount of Jurassic Park knowledge that I know Big Mitch has will translate very well as a dinosaur kid. You understand dinosaur kids more than anyone else, I think.
Thank you. I'm glad my Jurassic Park knowledge is finally coming in useful.
I have told many people about when you were just doing the opening monologue of Jurassic Park, like as a bit, and then I was like, well, keep going. And then you acted out the whole movie for me during like a water break on trail. Over like two breaks, Mitch enacted Jurassic Park to stunning detail. To like he did the theme music, he did every line, and he would take me through beat by beat.
That's
Like, it wasn't
amazing.
just like him going through dialogue. He'd be like, and then this happens, and then this happens, and
Amazing.
shocking accuracy.
Oh.
Okay, well, now I feel like we should offer a character switch to Nathan and Emma if they want it.
Oh no, I'm happy with.
Yeah, I'm happy.
I'm happy with Captain Bo.
Okay, hell yeah, that's very fun.
Are we gonna include the family reunion? Like, what was that like?
Yeah.
Was it like random fringe family?
Oh, God, so who was it? My mom's cousins, so it was like the Dahlbergs. So it was like, I don't know, my second cousin's like family kind of.
Sorry, did you say their name was the Dahlbergs?
Yeah, well,
Dahlbergs?
DAL.
Okay,
I think it was like the Dahlberg.
that's such a great name for like a part of the family that you don't really want to see. I feel like that's like J.K. Rowling would write that. It's like, oh, the Dahlbergs. It's like, oh, that's on the nose.
That is the American equivalent of Dursley.
Yes, honestly, really. And the Dahlbergs are pretty dry. They live in DC.
This sounds like fodder for Emma's character, just being like, I can't believe at the end of this trip is the Dahlbergs. Like, the Dahlbergs are what we get.
This trip sucks, and then the end of the trip, the reward.
The Dahlbergs live on that tar planet that is just like settlements on tar.
Well, now I can't share this with my family if we're like bad mouthing. There are lots of Dahlbergs in my family, and they're good people,
We'll edit
but
this part out.
they're not as fun as some of the other people in my family, statistically.
This is a fictionalized caricature.
What's a different version of Dahlberg that we can talk shit about? Bergdahl.
The Bergdahl.
Bergdahls.
Yeah. Is that based on the same naming convention of the Sorny Doors?
Similar, which we will really, that'll become a crutch pretty quickly, won't it?
Yeah, using that and space blank is really gonna be sprinkled all over this podcast.
I think by just switching up the syllables and adding space in front of things, that'll get us through like a long time.
Other parts of this that we should know about. I kind of enjoy like the world building aspect. Oh, also, for context for Mitch, Nathan is kind of he has been the DM when we played D&D, and so kind of defaults into like DM role, which we've decided to like not hold him to, or like you can still kind of make decisions about the story and everything, but he just kind of defaults into that role now with me and Emma at least, and it works pretty well for us.
Nice. I need someone to make strong decisions occasionally.
Yeah, 100%. It's a very helpful scaffolding, but also like in the Western, we ended up having a lot of scenes where it was just like one or two of our characters, and then like we would kind of jump into playing like supporting cast. But that did get a little confusing because then we would endow the supporting cast with names and be like, now this. It was kind of like we shouldn't do that too much, but we can definitely do that for bits if we want. I feel like especially at like a space fueling station, you gotta have some fucking weird stranger that one of us jumps into to. Add a surreal touch.
I think it's fine to have NPCs who like pop in like that, but not anyone who's like a character. You know, we should try to avoid that. But I think we'd be fine as long as we've just got like people that someone wants to play for a little scene and then pops out.
Yeah, and it's extra fun if we can kind of all endow the world with like, oh, like this is an aspect of the fucking space fueling station. That helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Can I share a cute, funny Nathan DM story?
I don't know. That's so
You
vague,
sure can,
but
Emma.
Sure.
Yeah. So Nathan has been a DM for, I don't know, like 10 years now?
I mean, I guess technically when me and Matthew were sort of starting it is when I would call the beginning of that. How long ago was that when you were working at your uncle's warehouse? What were you doing?
It's not my uncle's
When you were
warehouse.
just a bad employee, I assume?
I was a bad employee, but they also didn't expect too much of me. I was an okay employee eventually. We did our texting.
It's okay, we can cut this from the podcast. He was a great employee.
I was an incredible employee at Pivot Interiors.
Indeed.com, please rate. Please note that an organized,
I don't need Pivot
highly
Interiors
competitive.
as a reference anymore, so that's okay. But it was going into my first year of college, which was 2013, I think, 2014.
So 11 years then I've been doing DMing things.
Yeah.
So Nate's been a DM for over 10 years and running at least one group pretty solidly throughout that. And for the first time in like 10 years recently was like, you know what, I kind of want to break from DMing. And took literally 2 weeks off before being like, I really miss it. I want to be the DM again.
I was also going through a bunch of things at work where it was extra stressful, and I was just like, every week I gotta think of a thing again. I can't. It's too much. And then I was immediately like, let me back in.
Give
Yeah,
it
so
back.
that's very cute.
I need some control.
Yeah, that's also what it is. Do you remember when? So here, the backstory of me and Maddie playing is we used to text just back and forth, like sort of D&D, but sort of just like I don't know. We just make it up. But anyways, I was running it, and then he was like, "Hey, do you want to try playing?" And I was like, "Sure." And I made a character, and he was like, "All right, let's do this." And I was immediately like, I want more control over the world. I can't be a player.
It can be a story. We can get meta with it and do this as a story that we play. That's later down.
That's last down the line.
That's
We've got a lot of stories to get to before we get to meta stories.
that's Patreon content for sure. That's going straight on the Patreon once we develop a great fan base.
Yeah. Also, audience note: we have no Patreon.
In this economy?
Yet. Keep an eye out for
Also, audience note: we have no audience. So both things are true.
You gonna have a Patreon art audience?
To offer more context to Nathan and Emma for me and Mitch, we played D&D while we were hiking, where I would just DM for him. We had dice rollers on our phone, but before we use the dice rollers to roll well, I would be like, okay, like pick up that rock and hit that tree, and depending on how close you got, you would roll well or roll poorly. It's like a small skill challenge.
Oh, amazing.
Oh man, I used to. Okay, we're definitely gonna have to cut this part. But I used to have. We used to have foster kids, and we would do that when we were hiking with me and the boy. We would do that a lot. But instead, I would just say like, "Oh, what number did you roll?" And he would just say a number. And the best thing is he would love failing a roll. But it would be like, "Oh, what'd you get?" He'd be like, "I got a 3." I'd be like, "Oh no, that means it grabs you." And he'd be like, "Oh no."
That's so cute.
Yeah, he's just like so in the story where he wouldn't be like, I got a 20, I got a 20. He'd constantly, it was so funny.
All the other kids that we had, they would say that they got
true.
20.
Whenever I was playing with them, something with them, they'd be like, oh, 20. But
Anonymous foster child, because we definitely can't use names, would really, it was very
sweet.
But I think I cut you off, Matthew. What was you saying?
Well, the campaign that we played on Trail, Mitch played a very convincing, like, snobby, young, rich boy, which I think will translate well. Not that young Mitch in real life was snobby, young, or rich, but
I was young.
You have that voice.
You're certainly young.
Yeah, for sure young. Definitely young.
He was never young, even as a boy.
He was one of those old boys.
He was old, poor, and casual.
Old, poor, and casual.
All right. Should we stop the recording here? And then I can see how hard editing it is?
I guess so. That's reasonable, right?
Yeah, it seems like it.
Join us next time when we play through the Space Oregon Trail, finding the Sorny Doors. I guess it's less Oregon Trail now. That was a terrible outro.
And that's the outro.
Join us next time when me, Summer, gets forced into this road trip with my boring, lame family to go to our boring, lame family reunion in the space tar pits because my stupid little cousin likes Sorny Doors so much, and Captain Mo needs me to come babysit his butt.
Damn, Summer.
Now that's an outro.
I feel like we should absolutely cut.
We'll use this for all the episodes with Mitch. This is the plug section. First, a big thanks to Keikoa Kato, who did our intro and our outro music. You can find me, Nathan, at on most platforms at Nathan Who Writes, no spaces.
You can find me, Emma Brown, at mshineart on Instagram, unless I've once again deleted my Instagram account. Get in before I get out. That's EMSHINE art. And I like to make paintings and illustrations, such as the cover for our podcast.
My name is Maddie, and you can find me at matt.kok. Is it Coke? Is it cock? No one knows. Sometimes I'll do like some writing stuff. Shout out to my partner's parents for this incredible Highbush cranberry ketchup that I'm currently eating.
All right, I'm Mitch Collins. You can find me on Instagram at tumble.on.outfitters, or you can go to tumbleonoutfitters.com where you can buy a lovely handmade fleece mid-layer.
We're looking at pictures of those now, and they look cute and comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I'm happy with my Minx Alpha Fleece from Tumble On Outfitters. It's breathable when I need it to be, and warm when paired with another layer. And I get lots of compliments.